Now, the decision here being taken for the sake of quality of air in Delhi, given that the Delhi pollution has reached an alarming level, already hovering between the poor and severe bar, with air quality entering the red zone here. This is yet another drastic step being taken. The Environment Pollution Prevention and Control Authority, or the EPCA, has now ordered to shut the city's Badarpur thermal power plant till the 15th of March. The plant was, of course, slated to be shut by July 2018 this year, but now it's been decided to shut it till March 15th next year. The body has banned the use of generator sets as well, just before the onslaught of wedding seasons. You're not going to be allowed to use generator sets for the Bharat in wedding seasons. Gensets can only be used for essential services such as in hospitals. The EPCA was constituted by the Supreme Court in the year 1998 to monitor and intervene in Delhi's bane of air pollution. Well, without doubt, today it has this year, in fact, intervened rather strongly and putting a ban in the use of gensets for weddings and other, as many would think, frivolous occasions that would further spike the pollution in air. They could only be used for emergency situations such as in hospitals.
पिछले साल जैसी स्थिति गंभीर नहीं होगी, पिछले साल से इम्प्रूवमेंट होगा, ऐसा हमारा विश्वास है। काश्तकारों को भी उन विकल्प को अपनाना चाहिए। इससे बिजली बन सकती है, इससे गैस बन सकता है, इससे फॉस्फेटिक फर्टिलाइजर बन सकता है। इसकी ठीक टेक्नोलॉजी का प्रयोग करते हुए काश्तकार को थोड़ी मेहनत करनी चाहिए।
What we are giving the figures, this is a forecast data and a lot depends upon the weather. So what we are given the information by IMD is that on 20th morning and 21st, you are likely to have wind coming from UP, okay, which brings moisture. So because of that, there could be foggy conditions, and because of which you will be having smoke coupled with the fog, you will be having smog, and which will be creating a lot of problems for the citizens. So that's why we are forewarning the citizens should use as much less as possible the firecrackers, rather avoid them so that they could be safe.
The Ministry of Environment, based on the Supreme Court, has notified a graded response action plan. What it does is think about it like a disaster alert system. You have an alert system now. From today, the category which is called very poor and severe is imposed. Okay? Now, when this is imposed, there is a set of actions that need to be taken. The first action that is being taken is the closure of Badarpur thermal power plant. The second action is to make sure that all brick kilns not converted to zigzag are closed. That is in NCR. We have also working with the state governments to make sure that there is control on garbage burning and road dust. That's a very difficult issue, but that is something they have to control. If this does not control pollution, we will take another set of actions. Increasing parking charges is another thing listed. Increasing public transport, but we can do nothing about increasing public transport if there are no buses on the road.
All right, clearly multiple steps being taken to not have a repeat of what had witnessed and experienced last year, to the extent schools and colleges also had to remain shut several days after Diwali because of the quality of air that had dipped to an extent that one had to wear masks even sitting inside their homes. Our correspondent Milan getting us further inputs. Milan, this expectedly what the EPCA feels is going to drastically, to an extent, help in not polluting the air. What have been the responses on ground in not using gensets post Diwali there as well? Because that's when the wedding season starts. That's when maximum gensets are really used.
Yes, definitely. In fact, when we look at the ban on diesel generator sets, it's been there for some time now, but however, it's not adhered to. And this time around, the EPCA has said that the ban should be adhered to, and diesel generator sets should not be used just in case in other facilities like hospitals and metro stations is where there is a exception to this particular rule. And when we talk about the measures that the EPCA has taken this time around and directed shutdown of the thermal power plant at Badarpur also. And this has been shut from today onwards and will remain shut till the March 15th. But at this point, the EPCA has also told us that they are planning to completely phase this out by July 2018. So this is something that, the environment monitoring agencies were looking into, and considering the fact that the air quality in Delhi NCR has deteriorated with the Anand Vihar areas like Ghaziabad and even Bhiwadi, outside of Delhi NCR being one of the most polluted areas being mapped out by the EPCA data there. And they are looking at severe deterioration of air quality just after Diwali, which is on the 20th and the 21st. So these are the 2 days that are going to be the most critical for monitoring for the EPCA and also for the citizens of Delhi, who should ideally avoid venturing out, because we are staring at a massive healthcare crisis again, and leading to several pulmonary and respiratory disorders, especially asthmatics who have a breathing problem will not be able to sustain in this kind of air that has been polluted with the particulate matter 2.5 and 10. So currently, wherein the category of pollution is swinging between very poor to severe. These are some of the measures that the EPCA mentioned and have taken in collaboration with the Delhi government and the CPCB and other state governments in the neighboring areas.
Right. Milan, many would think that these measures, of course, on an emergency basis, but nevertheless coming in far too late in the day. To what extent can they really be monitored, the implementation of it be monitored on ground?
That's exactly the point here that many have raised. The fact that even the burning of or bursting of crackers has been banned by the Supreme Court. But we are listening to instances of how in several areas the crackers are being sold underhand and quietly through some points, wherein the Delhi police is the monitoring agency and is doing many crackdowns on the ground. However, the ban does not apply to bursting of crackers, and this is something that the people need to understand has to be done voluntarily. And similarly, these were some of the measures that the EPCA listed, and yes, they have come in a bit late, but their justification says that we're looking at the ambient air quality, which has crossed 280 at this point, and for the next 3 days is predicted to cross over 300 because of the vehicular traffic emissions and Diwali being around the corner. This is the kind of measures that they will take now. And certainly it cannot be denied at the fact that if the EPCA advocates use of public transport, that is something that cannot happen overnight. And
absolutely.
Certainly these measures
Milan, many thanks for getting us those inputs.